And then, all right, we have I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Blum. Okay, my name is Sherry Wang. I originally come from Philadelphia area. Actually, when you were in Livingston, New Jersey, many years ago.
Wow.
I was there.
Wow. Yeah.
I attended your meeting probably 2014. At that time, my son was in high school, and I was really moved, and I joined your organization, and now my son graduated from college already. So I really wanted to show my appreciation for your advocacy for the Chinese and Asian Americans to fight for this fairness for the college admission.
Well,
I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for sharing that story.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question. Since then, I kind of like followed the litigation and the case and everything. I know we lost in Boston appeal court, and so I just wanted to, maybe I don't know if you have time, just give us some summary about why we lost and what we're doing. Because Supreme Court is here, took this case and will hear in October. So I just wanted to know what this organization is doing to try to win this case, and what caused the loss in the Boston appeal court.
Those are great questions. I will confess that these two cases are my 7th and 8th cases to take to the U.S. Supreme Court. I'm not sure. There may, of the 30 lawsuits that I have been kind of the architect of, I think I've only won maybe 5 of them at the lower courts. So it is not unusual in legal advocacy to lose at the district court, and it's I've had better luck at the Court of Appeals, but we lost there in Harvard as well. Why did we lose? Well, I think without really going into the details about the court itself and the judges on those courts, is they seem to be inclined to rule for Harvard early on. The data that we presented, the requests that we asked for, there was a sense that regardless of what we presented, the court was going to be extremely skeptical of our data and our analysis, the emails that we received, and the people that we deposed. The one thing that I can tell you that I think troubled the court, there were two things, and I've alluded to one of them. The court recognized, no matter how you cut it, the personality scores of Asian American applicants are the lowest, not just modestly lower, but significantly lower. The court couldn't really explain that. Harvard didn't do a sufficient job in explaining how that came about. So the court, I think, was troubled by that. The other thing that the court was troubled by that hasn't really gotten much attention recently was that in 2012, I think I have that year right. In 2012, Harvard initiated, the Office of Admissions initiated a study of their own internal admissions practices. That is, Harvard has a little office within Harvard that studies Harvard. It's called the Office of Institutional Research. I think that's OIR, the Office of Institutional Research. And it's like a little think tank within Harvard. So if you're the dean of Harvard Law and you have some questions about Harvard law, you can go to this office and they will help analyze your question. So the Office of Internal Research at Harvard did an analysis of Harvard's own admissions policies. This was highlighted in the New York Times and during the trial. And Harvard's own Office of Institutional Research told Harvard's senior administrators that something's not right with the way you're treating Asians. This was a report that we got. This was a report that went to the senior people in Harvard's admissions office. So Harvard's admissions people said, well, yeah, we got the report, but we didn't act on it because it was just preliminary and we had enough and we didn't need it, and things changed. So that, I think, troubled the judge as well. I think if we had had this case maybe in a different court outside of Boston, perhaps there could have been a different outcome. But you go into this kind of litigation expecting to lose. You have to expect to lose, and then you have to expect to lose at the next appellate level, and you just hope that the Supreme Court will take up the case as they have. Oh well, you've got a great memory. Yeah.
Okay, because Mr. Blum had 20 minutes, can we focus on questions? How to join? What can people qualify? How to join the student for admission first? And then, like Sam's question, I can address later. I can handle that. Okay. So, question to what kind of qualification? How to join? How to support? Okay.
You need to be transferred. Just how you told us is to speak that it's specific country for Asian Americans. But I want to know what about the two cases? You told us about sharing with us the two cases. You go to the Supreme Court in October. What are two cases of Asian Americans? What their nationality or which country?
Well, I think I understood the question. The hearing is declining in old age, I will tell you that. And so the common application, as I understand it, only has boxes for broad ethnic groups. Was that the?
Mr. Blum, let me address, okay? But like doing something, helping some Chinese student. So for this case, is Asian American against Harvard University? That's one case. Second case is against the University of North Carolina, but to be qualified as Asian Americans, somebody need to have a green card at a minimum for U.S. citizen. If applicants from China, mainland China, if they don't have the green card, really we cannot really justify joining this. It's really the permanent resident.
If you're a permanent resident or a citizen.
I want to know what in these two cases, what is the regional from?
No, all Asian.
Yeah, no, it's
organizing.
So the organization has, as I mentioned, over 20,000 members. Of those 20,000 members, let's say there are probably, let's say 36 students over the years who applied to Harvard and were rejected. I think every one of those students was a US citizen. There may have been one or two that were permanent residents, but all of them were US citizens. Now their parents may not have been. And so in order to join Students for Fair Admissions, you can join it. But to have a participating role, which is what I'm looking for, a student needs to be either a citizen or, as Yukong said, be a permanent resident of the U.S. Okay.
Yeah, but related to the Mike's question about address this issue in about how to join. Could you? I think you just all you have to do just specify your website.org online on whatever you can deliver to everybody, and that's all. You don't need to do anything special.
Yeah, all that you have to do is go to studentsforfairadmissions.org. It's the full.
May I ask a question, because some parents already asked me, right? They say they have children applied other school, they were concerned about the discrimination by Harvard. If in this case, are they eligible to join, right? That's the question. Also, another question I think you already answered. If there's a parent whose children is in the middle school or elementary school, are they eligible, right?
So,
these two questions are very
great question. Thank you, Yukong. So ideally, we want three kinds of members. We want students who have been rejected from Harvard, or students who have been rejected from the University of North Carolina in this last admission cycle. So if you found out that you were rejected from Harvard, a couple of weeks ago on March the 31st, you should contact us. The next group are parents of students who are in high school. So if you have a son or daughter in the 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, rising senior, rising sophomore, rising junior, then please join the organization and tell us on the website that I'm a parent and I have a daughter in the 10th grade, or I'm a parent and I've got a son who will be in the 12th grade. Tell us that. And then finally, we want those students who are in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Now, if the parent joins, the student doesn't have to join. It can be a family membership, so it only costs you $10 one time. You don't have to have multiple $10 memberships.
What if my case, I have no children, nobody?
We want you to join anyway, Professor Wong. Yeah, we want you to join. We want you to join anyway. And here's why this is important. We want, as I mentioned, we want to be able to represent to the American public that since this case was accepted by the Supreme Court, Students for Fair Admissions has added 400 new members, 500 new members, 600 new members. And of the 600 new members, 75 of them have students who will be applying to Harvard or applying to the University of North Carolina over the next few years. So we can tell the American public, and we can represent in our arguments to the Supreme Court that this is an extremely important issue here in America. Discrimination has happened in the past. It's going to happen in the future unless the Supreme Court ends the use of race in college admissions.
So they may be rejected by Harvard, and most likely the first reaction is, oh, my kids are not good enough, or whatever. Harvard is so high up there. So we should encourage them, no matter what you think, your kids are, go to that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's unnecessary. Often I get calls saying my daughter had a 1590 SAT. She did this, she did that. But, my son, he only had, 1540, and maybe that's not good enough for Harvard. No, it doesn't matter what your son's or daughter's SAT score was. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what their GPA is. For the purposes of joining, just the fact that they are Asian American and they're treated differently, that's the important element. Not
on the past, but my question is, my son is just interviewed in Harvard and Columbia, but finally he got rejected. It's 5 years ago, so he qualified.
He's qualified to join. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, may I emphasize a few things? Number one, this case is not only for Harvard, okay? Nationwide, all the colleges, in 42 states in America, all use Harvard model to discriminate our children. That's the importance, okay? That's number one. Number two, as a colleague mentioned, we need to fight. We need to participate for our rights. If we sit aside, somebody else making the rules. Some liberal organization take advantage of that, calling Asian American overrepresented, right? Imposing the racial quotas, to limit our enrollment, right? So that is not fair. We have to participate. Number three, we have to take responsibilities. If everybody think, okay, we can hide behind, don't take initiative, don't do that, we're going to lose, okay? Also, final question, regarding the concern, people coming from authoritarian countries worry about revenge. I want to tell you, Michael Wang and my son filed a civil rights complaint against Harvard, right? A few years ago. They, finished their college successfully, got a great job, okay? In this country, our many laws protect, citizens against revenge. Don't worry about that. And also, students for fair admissions already keep everybody's members name, private. So there's three key issues, barrier I see prevent many Asian parents joining. We should eliminate this barrier, okay? So like myself, we were already fighting, supporting Mr. Other students for fair admission for 7 years. My son, Michael Wang, many already, already stood up, okay? So join us, that's a very important battle. If we lose this one, if you say, okay, my children, got admission another, this time maybe discrimination a little bit, but if we don't fight, 25 years later, their son, your grandchildren will be discriminated. Generation to come will be discriminated. That's a great chance right now. So that's my comments. So any question regarding how to join?
Also, Mr. Zhao will mention briefly about the.
No, I also have one other thing. So just stay with us, please. We need also, I will elaborate how to join the amicus brief. I will talk about. Just give us 5 minutes. Attendees here will have picture with Mr. Edward Blum. I will come back to share with you how to join our amicus brief. Okay.
We do have a few questions from the chat. Do we still have time to address those?
Thank you. We'll continue one more thing here, okay, everyone. Everyone. Hello, I'm back.
Yeah, so there are a few questions from the chat. Are you able to address that?
行错，我们还得。
Hello, Yikong.
Okay, can I have your attention, please? Please sit down. 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 We'll have continue. Kayla. Lily. Okay, please. One more thing, okay? One more thing. I'm sorry. So I guess you remember earlier on I mentioned the two things we have to support students for fair admission. Another thing is AAC is leading efforts to file the amicus brief to the U.S. Supreme Court. We're calling U.S. Supreme Court to totally ban the use of race in the college admission. Last year, we united over 300 organizations nationwide. This year, we want to unite more. So all the students leaders or members, please tell your organizations, sign up. Let me tell you the key information this year, what we're going to say. We say race-conscious college admission unjustly discriminate against Asian American applicants and promote racial hostility and even violence against members of this minority group. Second is the racial hierarchy in admissions at Harvard and UNC promote the same repellent stereotype used to justify historic discrimination against Asian Americans. Third, the Harvard and UNC cases illustrate why race should not be used in schools outside remedial contexts. Four, the court should re-examine the holding of Grutter and Fisher, which have not stood the test of time. Fifth, the nation needs commonality, not racial balkanization. It faces the challenge of 21st century. Let me translate in Chinese, okay? Just give me 1 second. 第一就是说，以种族为因素的大学录取吧，不公正歧视亚裔孩子，而且助长了对我们的仇视乃至暴力。第二，哈佛和北卡大学招生中的种族等级制度呢，助长了贬低我们亚裔的刻板印象。然后这些刻板印象在历史上用于歧视了我们亚裔，就是比如说黄祸，对不对？以前就是说是把我们华人污蔑为黄祸。第三，就哈佛大学和北卡大学的案例说明了为什么大学录取不能用种族因素。第四呢，最高法院呢应该重新审理他们以前的2个案子，一个是 Grutter， 一个是Fisher， 他们的立场也他们已经不合时宜了，就是在现在已经经不起时间的考验。第五呢，在21世纪，我们要发现我们美国。就是说人的就是族群之间的融合，而不是把那个族群加剧分离，这就是我们的 amicus brief 的主要内容。现在呢，就是说 I'm going to in Asian American for Education.org， 就是在我们的 organization 里头就有这个 under news we have the way to sign up。那 any organization 501c can join。Because this is protected by First Amendment, U.S. Constitution, freedom of speech. 就任何非政治性的组织都可以加入，这是就是说相当于言论自由的这个保护。现在呢，已经就是去年有300多个组织了，现在呢，希望大家加入，你们不需要承担任何财务什么东西的这个责任，只要加入就行了。So I'm going to work with a colleague with many organization leader here to really sign up this. I'll say Sam already signed up last year. You already signed up. We don't have to redo it again. But we want as many Asian American to join us. We want to speak out, speak up. So in this case, we can achieve, to really help students for fair admission to win this case. So as I mentioned, this is a battle, this is a war for our future generation. We have best chance this year. So let's fight for that. Thank you very much. This conclude this meeting. 小明你可以就是